Were you able to practice any of those concepts, whatever we learned?
Yeah, I think I tried to compare that with mine and few other
Okay.
horoscopes that I have.
Mm.
So I did see a lot of. I mean, I don't know. I can't really say, but I was going through the last couple of classes as well because I didn't revise them. So
Okay.
I think almost 80% of what are the characteristic you said based on uh, the Lagna and everything did match.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. 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 Anybody else try? See, again, I tell so every batch, every students, right? Astrology is like mathematics. You will think when you are learning, it is simple, it is easy. Oh, I know this. But unless you practice, it won't register yet. The more you practice, the more you can uh, register. Otherwise, you will forget it. Then after 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, then after that, oh, okay, what is that? Oh, I vaguely remember this planet, that Rasi, like that only. So you won't be able to remember anything. Okay. Okay, right. So let's get started. Any doubts? Any other questions before we get started? Okay.
Sir, the Kindle book that you mentioned,
Yeah.
is there a printed version of that also?
No, I don't. I didn't do a printed version.
Okay.
So it is very simple. So you have to just download the Kindle app from your
Yeah.
app store. Okay,
Yeah.
whether it's Android or iPhone, it doesn't matter. Then you
Mm.
use your Amazon account username and password,
Right.
and that's it.
No, I used it, but I like having paper because
Yeah,
it's.
yeah, me too. Me too. I'm also
Yeah.
same way. Because of that, but the thing is, I am planning to write a full-fledged book,
Okay.
this is just an introduction, right? Say
Okay.
for example, the whatever the full class, the 6 months batch class, what I'm taking, that whole thing, anybody without any background or any knowledge in astrology, that person starts my book, and by the time he finishes, uh, he or she should be or will be in a position to answer any question related to astrology and ask the client's question and answer them. That's my goal. So
Yeah.
that's been like long pending for a few years right now. I'm not finding time to do it, sit and write, right? So that's the reason, I'm waiting for that book to complete and then do a printed version. Um, so I don't know this version, whether I can do a printed version. Maybe there may be some cost involved and things like that, right? So this
Okay.
ebook is very easy. I wrote it, I uploaded it, and that's it.
Okay. Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. No worries. Thanks.
Please do share your feedback on the book.
Sure.
Okay, so so we saw about all the planets, right? All the karakatwas of all the navagrahas. So now today we will talk about again continuation of the planets only. Planet relationship. So these planets, grahas, have a relationship among each other. Okay, like a human being. So planet Sun. Okay. So simple, right? I explained what is sun. Sun is a king, right? So we said king and moon is queen, Mars is commander in chief, Jupiter is the guru for the kingdom, right? If you remember that hierarchy, it is very easy to remember the friendship. So for Sun, these three planets are friends. Mercury, remember I told it is a prince, right? So prince in the kingdom. So between Sun and Mercury relationship is neutral. It is neither friend nor enemy. Other than these planets, remaining is all enemy. Saturn, Venus, Rahu, Ketu is enemy. So usually this planet table you will find in many astrology books. One thing you won't find is the Rahu and Ketu. This relationship, none of the books have. I am the only one presenting it. Okay. So we'll come to it. So let's finish up Rahu. So Rahu and Ketu. So for Rahu, it is called like a Asura planets, right? So demon and planets. So for them, Venus and Saturn are friends. Mercury and Jupiter are neutral, and the remaining three planets are enemies, Sun, Moon, and Mars. Same thing for Ketu also. The only change here is for Ketu, Mars is friend and Saturn is enemy. For Rahu, Saturn is friend, Mars is enemy. Remember, what is the connection between Rahu and Saturn? Can anybody tell? So I told, right? So Rahu is nothing but Saturn. So whatever the characteristics of Saturn will apply to Rahu. Same thing, whatever the characteristics of Mars will apply to Ketu. Okay. So this you won't find in any book. Only I did this. So other than that, so Moon, again, we already saw here, right? Moon considers Sun and Mercury as friend and Mars, Jupiter, Venus, Saturn as neutral. Please note, Moon does not have any enemy at all. Moon, what is Moon? What is the nature of Moon?
Feminine, mother.
Feminine mother, right? So motherly love, right? So Moon considers everybody as the children type. So no enemy at all for Moon. Except Moon, all other planets have enemies. That means what? If Moon influenced person, if you go and talk to any Moon influenced person, you will say everybody is nice. That person will easily get along, whether it is a male or female, easily get along with everybody. And you go and ask other people, what do you think about that person? Nobody will tell anything evil about that person. You can easily find out. The moment if anybody talks, says like that, oh, this person is a gem of a person, this person does not have any enemies like that, you can blindly, you don't have to look at their horoscope. You can clearly identify that person has Moon's influence. Okay. So Jupiter considers Sun, Moon, and Mars as friends, Saturn as neutral, Mercury and Venus as enemies. Okay. Then Mercury as enemy. Do you know the relationship between Jupiter, Mercury, and Moon? There is a story behind it. Does anybody know? Okay, let me tell you that story. It will be easy for you to remember. So Jupiter is a guru, right? When the guru Brihaspati, he goes for a tapas for many years. In that meantime, Moon will come and develop a relationship with Jupiter's wife, and then a child will be born. That child is Mercury. So Mercury's father is Moon. Then Jupiter Brihaspati, he will come back, and then he will find out about this. Then through because of love towards his wife, he will excuse his wife. So he will accept Mercury as his son. Okay, but still he won't really like him. You know, for the society's sake, he accepted, but still within inside, they won't. He doesn't like him. So Jupiter, that's why Jupiter considers Mercury as enemy. But Mercury is a child, right? See, Mercury considers Moon as enemy. Okay.
Then why Mercury is considered Moon as enemy? Because he's a mother, right?
Because he is like, yeah, like he's like a illegitimate or illegal relationship, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but if we see this table, so
Mhm.
Moon doesn't have any enemy,
Correct.
but Mercury considers Moon as an enemy,
Enemy.
but Moon doesn't consider
Mercury as enemy.
Mercury as enemy.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Because Mercury is Moon's son, right?
Hmm.
Okay. So this story, I mean, whether it is true or false, all that we don't have to go deep into it. This story will connect you to remember the relationship. Okay. And Venus. So Venus is, who is Venus? Venus is Sukracharya, right? Shukra.
Shukra, yeah.
Yeah, Shukra. So basically it's called a Sukracharya. So Venus is the guru for the Asuras. Okay.
Yeah.
So Venus and Jupiter both are same in terms of their skills and capabilities. We'll talk about more into the next slide. Okay. So Venus, Mercury, Saturn are friends, Mars, Jupiter are neutral, Sun and Moon are enemies. For Ketu, Venus and Mars are friends, Mercury, Jupiter neutral, Sun, Moon and Saturn are enemies. For Saturn, again, Mercury, Venus, friends, Jupiter and Sun, Moon, Mars are all enemies. And do you know there is a story between how Sun and Saturn are connected?
No.
No? Okay. So basically, Saturn, Shani, right? Shani is Sun. Shani's father is Sun.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So then how it is connected? Somebody said Shani's father is Sun.
Correct. So yeah, Shani is father of Sun, but why Sun is enemy for Sun?
Why?
A good question.
It's not that, see, in Mercury's case, Moon considers Mercury, his son, as a friend.
Yeah.
Right? But Mercury doesn't consider his father as a friend. But in Shani's case, both are like enemies. Both won't gel together. Okay. So there is a story behind it. The story is Sun is hot, right? So Sun's wife, Sandhya, she, because of that heat and other things, she couldn't tolerate the sun's heat. So she wanted to go and then do a tapas for many years. Okay. And in her place, she wanted to put somebody to take care of the family and son, right? I mean, the sun, the Surya. So what she did is she created a, if I talk in a modern language, cloning. She did a clone of herself called Chaya. So she created a clone. Her name is Chaya, and then she went out. So Surya, sun couldn't recognize that there is another person living. Okay, Chaya. So he thinks Sandhya is there, and over a period of time, Chaya will give birth to Saturn, Shani. So Chaya is the shadow, right? Shadow, a person born to a shadow, this boy is dark in color. That time, sun will get angry and then he will go, how come my son can be this dark? Right? So then the whole story will come out, and and that is the reason he does not like Shani. And same thing, right? He never accepted Shani as his son. He always kept Shani separately only. And vice versa. Shani never got his father's love and affection, and he has been treated separately, right? He hates basically. And because of that, Shani also built a inimical relationship. Okay. So Saturn and Mars. Mars, again, Sun, Moon, Jupiter are friends. Venus, Saturn, neutral. Mercury is the only enemy for Mars. All these stories will help you to understand these planet relationships and how these planets behave in the horoscope. Okay. Now let's continue. Okay. Further characteristics. So earlier we saw the relationship. So basically, mainly these planets, Grahas, are categorized into Saumya or Saumya Graha. In English, we call it benefic and malefic. Malefic is Krura Raga, Krura Graha, or some people call it as a Papa Graha. Okay. So I've put this term so that people will understand, but I do not personally agree to this word Shubha and Papa. Okay, I tell you, there is nothing called Shubha and Papa, auspicious and inauspicious. Okay, so basically these planets are Saumya. Saumya is what soft in nature, right? And these planets are Krura, right? Cruelty, cruel in nature. Okay. So if you take the animals, I'm just giving an example. Okay. Lion, tiger, all these are all we call it as wild animals, right? Are they bad? No. Why they're called wild animals? Because the nature is wild. They kill other animals to survive. Right? Lion does not go and kill whatever the animal it sees. It will kill when it is hungry. Right? So when there is a specific duty that he has to do, because it's a survival for it, so it goes and then kills. It doesn't matter how it kills. Right? It's cruel, wild. But whereas Saumya animals, if you take all this cow, all these animals, they're soft. They eat, whatever the grass and other things like that, right? So they are soft. Same thing, planets are also soft in nature and cruel in nature. So when these planets are there in your horoscope, their result also will be in that fashion. Whether they are soft, benefic, soft means what? Benefic, it will give all the comforts and things like that. Krura means it will be the very, cruel way, very hard way. Let me give one example. Say you are traveling somewhere, okay, based on your karma, and you have to starve for you're not supposed to eat. Okay, if that situation happens, that will be there. If you are influenced in the benefic planet like a Jupiter or Venus, what happens is you will find hotel. Okay, you will have money, but you won't be able to eat. Either they will say kitchen is closed, nothing is available to eat. When you are under the malefic planet influence, okay, that time you will see all the hotels. You will see everything, biryani, veg, whatever it is, you name it, you will see. But you will not have money to go and eat. Hence you will starve for that day. In both the situations, the result is same, starving. But how you starve makes the difference. Clear?
Yep.
Yeah.
Right? So a lot of people will scare. Oh, this planet is malefic. Oh, this is benefic. Right? Especially for the malefic planets, people will scare you like anything. Don't worry about that. Okay? If you see, normally people will scare you Saturn, Rahu, Ketu, right? Sun is also a malefic planet. Remember, Mars is also a malefic planet. Think, right? A king and a commander-in-chief, how can they be soft and nice? They cannot be, right? So if you look at it, out of Navagrahas, only 2 are benefic. Jupiter and Venus. Moon is, the Shukla Paksha is benefic, the Krishna Paksha is malefic. That is, Shukla Paksha is what? From Amavasya to Purnami. That segment, that 15 days is benefic. From Purnami to Amavasya is malefic. Mercury is neutral. Okay. So you have more malefic planets than any benefic planets. Okay. So planets also have sex assigned to it. You see, Venus and Moon are the only 2 planets denote female. Jupiter, Sun, Mars, male, Rahu, Ketu, Saturn, Mercury, no sex. They're neutral. Where it will be helpful? Anybody wants to think? Where this will be used? What happened? We see this day in and day out in our life.
Marriage alliances?
No, not marriage alliance. To determine the sex of the child to be born. People ask, right? If a lady is pregnant, they will ask, okay, is it going to be a boy or a girl?
Yeah.
This is what will be. This is one of the factor to use to determine the sex of the baby. And in various other instances also it will be used. Say for example, some item got stolen and you want to find out who stole the item, who is the thief. This will tell you. This will give a hint. Okay. So Varnas. So Varnas is basically we already saw in the last week. So Jupiter and Venus, I told they are gurus, right? Jupiter is guru for the gods, and Venus is guru for the demons. So basically both are in nature the same. So they belong to their knowledge, right? I told you about Varnas. Varnas, Brahmins means scholars, knowledge, right? So that is what their duty is. They belong to Brahmins, Varna. Sun and Mars, they belong to warriors. So Sun is a king, Mars is a commander-in-chief. What do? They wage wars, right? So there they belong to warriors or kshatriyas. And Saturn represents Shudra. Shudra means workers, working class people. Anybody who does work for a salary fall under Shudra category. Moon and Mercury fall in the traders, Vaishyas. Okay. And some people ask which deity to be followed or for these planets to please. So these are all the planets, deities. For Jupiter, Indra, Brahma. Venus is Lakshmi. Sun, Agni, Shiva or Narayana is also fine. Mars, Shanmuga, Murugan, Subramanya Swami. And Rahu, Durga. For Ketu, it is Ganapati, Ganesh, all that. For Saturn, it's not very clear. I put Yama, but you can worship Shiva also.
And Shani as well, right?
For Shani.
Yeah, Shani is a god, right?
No, Shani is the planet.
Okay.
So for these planets, to please these planets, which god you should worship? Okay, that's what it is. And for moon, Varuna is the rain, right? Rain god, and Shakti. Mercury is Vishnu.
Sir, I have a question on
Yeah.
previous slide.
Yeah.
So, what for Mercury, it is malefic if afflicted. So, what does afflicted means?
Okay. Good. So afflicted, we will talk about it later. So
Okay.
basically, yeah, we'll talk about it later.
Okay.
Yeah. After teaching other concepts, I will tell about affliction. Okay. So now what are we talking about? Okay. So now we're going to talk about, these are all the core characteristics of these planets. Okay. It doesn't matter this planet is in which, where in the horoscope it is situated. The characteristics of that remains the same. Assume like us, right? So whether we are at home, we are at the office, or we are in US, or we are in India, or we are in some other place, our characteristics is same, right? But our behavior will change when we are in a certain places, right? We won't be same, we won't behave the same way how you are at home and how you are at office, right? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Right. The same thing when you go out for vacation or when you go out for like a theme park, right? You will be like a different person. So like that, it is the same person, we will behave differently. Why we behave differently? Why? Because where we are situated in, right? So likewise, these planets also will behave differently based on where they are situated. Okay, so now first let's talk about Mula Trikona. So Mula Trikona means, first we have to understand what is Mula Trikona. So Mula Trikona means this planet will behave like, in a very simple terminology, if I have to say, they will behave like a very professional, like in a professional way. How you behave at the office, right? So like that they will behave. No extra, nothing, right? In a very professional way, very dutiful. If I have to use the word dutiful, responsible. So for that, each planet out of 360 degrees, we saw, right? So total, right? Out of 360 is 12 Rasis, some degrees only these planets has been assigned as a Mula Trikona. Okay. So for Sun, it is Leo sign from 0 to 20 degrees. Okay. For Moon, Taurus sign 3 to 30 degrees. See the difference? The degrees, number one, the degrees duration is different. Your starting and ending point is different for each and every planet. Okay. For Moon, it is 27 degrees total, but from 3 degrees to 30 degrees of Taurus. Mars, Aries, 0 to 12. Mercury, Virgo, 15 to 20 degrees. See, only 5 degrees for Mercury. Jupiter, Sagittarius, that Dhanushu Rasi, 0 to 10. Libra, 0 to 15. Venus. Saturn, Aquarius, Kumbham, 0 to 20 degrees. So these are all the 7 planets. So there is no Mula Trikona for Chaya Graha. But some astrologers consider for Rahu, Virgo, Kanya Rasi as the Mula Trikona house. For Ketu, Meenam, Pisces as the Mula Trikona house. Okay. Salban, what is it? I didn't understand. Is it forming a trine?
Sir, small trikona, this is a new word for me. I thought that it's a substitute for trine.
No. Trine is different. We'll talk about
Right,
it.
sir. Thank
Okay.
you, sir.
We'll talk about it. So this is basically dutiful. Okay. These degrees. See, the degrees are different. The durations are different. Starting and ending points are different. So now let's talk about another concept called exaltation and debilitation. So exaltation means that is where the planet has the maximum energy. Out of 360 degrees, the maximum energy this planet will have is that exaltation position. So for Sun, it is Aries. Okay. For Moon, it is Taurus. For Jupiter, it is Cancer, Karkatam. Mercury, Kanya, Virgo. Saturn is Libra. And Mars is Capricorn, Makaram. For Venus, it is Pisces, Meenam, is the exaltation. Debilitation means that is the place where that planet gets the very less energy or has the very less energy. The weakest point they call. That is debilitation. Debilitation is basically its opposite. So take the example. Sun is exalted in Aries, right? Opposite Just take the opposite 180 degrees. Sun becomes debilitated here. Sun's enemy Saturn is exalted in Libra. But whereas Saturn gets debilitated in Aries. See the planet relationship. Wherever Sun is exalted, Saturn is debilitated. Where Saturn is exalted, Sun is debilitated. Okay. You can just swap. If you remember this chart, coming up with debilitation, it's very easy. You just add 180 degrees. So Jupiter is exalted in Cancer, but debilitated here in Capricorn, in Makaram, just opposite house. I specifically use the South Indian style chart because it's a fixed zodiac. You can easily swap the planet's position. The zodiac is fixed. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Okay. So, next terminology, Badaka Sthana. Right? This also you will hear a lot of times. All the astrologers will be talking about when you go for a consultation and things like that. So, Badaka Sthana means, Bada means what? Pain in Sanskrit. Bada means pain, suffering, obstruction, impediment, handicap, hindrance. So wherever the Badaka Sthana is, that Sthanam, you will undergo these things. There will be obstruction, there will be pain. You will not get it so easily. Okay. So let's see what are those. So for movable sign, remember the movable Chararasi we talked about? For movable sign, it is the 11th house and the 11th lord. Okay. You have to take the lordship. Have you memorized the lordships of the houses? Yes, no,
No.
no. I told you that is very, very important. You have to memorize that. Okay. So for fixed house, it is 9th house or the 9th lord. Okay. For dual signs, it is 7th house or 7th lord. So basically, your Lagna is which type it falls, and based on that, your Badaka house will be determined. So, Badaka in any house harms the prospects of the house, provides malefic results. So, basically, remember the word malefic results. Okay. Malefic is cruelty, right? So, it will be like that. The results will be like that. Then, along with that, you have to consider planets located in Badaka Sthana also will behave like Badaka planet. So here we saw Lord of 11th house, 9th Lord, 7th Lord, right? Along with that, you have to see if Badaka Sthana, Sun is placed in that house, say in the 11th house, Sun also will become a Badaka planet along with the 11th lord. Say, for example, Sun is sitting in Cancer, so Moon. So Moon is the Badaka planet, and then the whatever the lord, right, 11th house, right, that 11th house, then 11th lord, the Moon, along with that Sun also will be Badaka planet.
So, sir, whenever we say that this movable, so movable, we consider the ascendant sign, right? Not
Yeah,
the
correct.
moon sign.
Not the moon sign.
Okay, got it.
Ascendant only. Okay. So now here comes the trikona, trine. First 1, 5, 9 is considered as a trikona. Trikona means it's a triangle, right? It will be like this. So 1, it depends if you are going in a clockwise, it will be like this, 1, 5, 9. Right? Or if it is like this, it is 1, 5, 9, whatever. Right? It is the trikona. So what does trikona trine means? The trikona is the sign, they will say it will yield good results when they are connected to each other. That means what connected is the first house lord sitting in fifth house, or fifth house lord sitting in first house, ninth lord sitting in fifth house, like that. There has to be a connection. Then it will give very good results. Without that connection, you can't really say it will give any good results. Okay. And when those planets are to be like a friendly planets, then you will get the best results. Okay. And of course, for malefic planets, then there will be more malefic results. So it will impact the results. It will impact or it will delay things. It won't come easily. You have to slog, you have to work hard to get those results. So out of this 1, 5, and 9, ninth house and ninth lord gives the maximum result. Okay, why we will see later. So let's take for example how this result will impact if we don't pay attention or we are not careful enough. So ninth house, ninth lord gives, right? So for Sthira Lagna, ninth house, ninth lord is the Badakasthana, right? So this person has to be very careful. So this happened in real life. One person, what he did, he erected a big flex banner in his village or a town for his political leader to come, right, as a welcome. So what he did, while printing his name, the political leader's name, the initial he printed wrongly. It's like a typo. Instead of M, he pressed N, whatever, something like that. So whoever designed it, they put it and nobody noticed it. And when the political leader came, he was so happy to see such a big banners, but the moment he saw his name, he was completely upset because the initial is wrong. If the initial is wrong means what? It is a very serious thing, right? Either it means in some cultures it is the father's name, in some cultures it is your family name, surname. So that guy really got mad at him, and then immediately he had to bring down all those banners down. So in spite of putting efforts, he got a bad name because he didn't pay attention to the small detail. You will see, like, once you start seeing the horoscopes and then connect these 159 planets and see what people have done and what their events has happened in their lives, then you will be able to understand more about the value of this trikona. Okay, so this is the snapshot of all the houses. So I've put in green color as exalted, red color as debilitated, and the Badakasthana, right, for every sign. Okay. And then whether it is movable, fixed, dual, all that. So this will be like a ready reckoner for you to refer. Okay, aspects is the time. Okay, we can do it. Let's do the aspects. Okay, aspects is otherwise called as drishti. Have you heard about this word aspect,
Yes.
drishti? Every astrologer will talk about it, right?
Yeah.
And any, you want to share what it is or what you know?
As far as I know that the planet uh, sitting in one house and looking at some other house.
Correct. Correct. So basically drishti is what? Sight, right? You are seeing it. So these planets see each other. Again, remember, everything is our 360 degrees, right? Everything is, so if a planet is here, it can easily see. So when the drishti happens, say if you are here, which is the most easiest spot for you to see?
Across.
Across.
180 degrees.
180 degrees across, right? Straight. So astrologically, we call it as, if this is the first house, then your 180 degree is your 7th house. Okay. So all planets have 7th house aspect. All planets. All the 7 grahas have 7th house aspect. But there are planets which have additional aspects other than 7th. That is, for Saturn, it has 3rd house and 10th house aspect. Mars, 4 and 8. Jupiter, 5 and 9. So only these 3 planets have special aspects. What are the other planets do not have special aspects? What are the remaining planets?
Mercury, Venus,
Mercury, Venus, okay. And
Moon,
that's all?
Moon,
Moon, okay.
Rahu and Ketu.
Rahu, Ketu, okay, fine.
Okay, yeah, Rahu,
I'm not
Ketu.
considering Rahu, Ketu as a
Okay,
planet,
okay.
but yeah. What else? That's all? You missed the most important planet,
Sun.
Sun. Without Sun, nothing is there. Okay. So Sun, Moon, Venus, and Mercury have only 7 aspect, 180 degree aspect. That's all. Some astrologers consider Rahu and Ketu also has 5, 7, and 9 aspect, but I will not consider. Why? Because Rahu, when Rahu is here, Ketu is here, right? So always Rahu sees Ketu, always Ketu sees Rahu. And my main concept, my main reasoning is, what is drishti? Drishti is aspect, right? There is a physical body that is aspecting. So what is aspect? It is trying to transform or send its energy. So these two are imaginary points. In Jyotisha, we call it as a chaya graha. They do not physically exist. When they do not physically exist, how can they have aspect, drishti on other planets? They themselves do not have energy on their own. They depend energy from other planets. See, only when I have the energy, then only I can give, right? When I myself I'm borrowing from somebody, then how can I give that to other people? This is my reasoning. Okay. So that's why I don't consider Rahu Ketu as in having aspects. But there are some astrologers who consider it. I'm just telling you because some people are considering it. That's the reason I'm telling you. But if you ask my opinion, I will not, or I don't consider at all. Okay.
So in that case, sun would have the most energy, so it can almost have drushti on each of those, right?
Correct. Right. But from astrological perspective, sun has only 7th aspect.
Okay.
Okay. And let me tell you, did we cover all the topics? 1 minute. So what are all the things we saw so far, right? We saw exaltation, debilitation, mula trikona, aspects, right? Trine, all that we saw, correct? And you have used or you have heard these words from many astrologers every time. But the method which I teach in my class, we don't use these methods at all. Without using all these things, yet we will be able to give more accurate prediction. Are you guys with me?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the easier, way. So for example, let me give an example. How many of you know Shakuntala Devi?
I know.
You know, right?
Yes,
She is a
everybody knows.
mathematician, right? And then she is regarded as a supercomputer. Any calculation she does like that, correct?
Yeah.
Do you think she does the traditional way of multiplication and divisions to do those calculations?
Obviously not. That's why she's number one.
Obviously no, right? She
Yeah.
has a lot of tricks, lot of shortcuts. So in astrology also there are shortcuts. You don't have to do all these things to do predictions. That is the method I'm be teaching. And one more thing. How many of you know that Shakuntala Devi is also an astrologer?
We don't know that.
She is very top astrologer when she was alive.
Wow.
And in fact, in the astrological world, at least in the modern astrological world, I would say, she is the first person to talk about homosexuality using astrology. In 1970s. We are talking about homosexualities now. We are talking about LGBT, whatever, all those alphabets, rights.
Yeah.
She wrote books on this subject in 1970s itself. When you get time, you can just Google and see about her, learn about her. Okay, so aspects. So these are the special aspects for these 7 planets. So now let's see an example. Okay, so you have this chart, right? If you take Jupiter, so Jupiter is here, right? Jupiter is here. What are the houses Jupiter is aspecting? 5,
5, 7, 9.
5, 7, 9. Okay, so from here, which is the 5th house? So 1,
Same.
2, 3, 4, 5.
5.
Okay, this house. Then 7. 7 is easy, straight away opposite this one. And 9, 7, 8, 9. So Jupiter aspects these 3 houses. When we say aspect, it aspects this house and the planets in that house. Okay. So now let's take next Saturn. Saturn is here. What are the houses Saturn aspects? 3, 7, 10. So you have to count from here. 1, 2, 3. Right? So Saturn aspects third house, opposite is this house, and 10th house. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So if you look at it, already this house is aspected by two planets, two powerful planets, that is Jupiter and Saturn. Right? So now let's see what is the other leftover planet. Mars. So Mars is aspects 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7th house, and 8th house. If you see, for Mars, I've put two arrows, double-sided arrow. Why?
Because Moon is also looking at Mars, right?
Exactly. Moon is also aspecting Mars as the 7th aspect. For these planets, there is the 7th house is empty. So no other planet is aspecting, either Jupiter or Saturn or Venus. Got it? The more you practice, then you will be able to understand these aspects. Okay, I think this we will take next class. Okay, any questions? Any questions, doubts?
No, clear.
Clear? Good. So again, I tell, please practice. The more practice you do, the more you will easily understand these concepts. Okay. Aspects, there's exaltation, debilitation, and all that. Whether we use that method or not, but still you need to know all these things. Okay.
One quick one. When you say aspect, when we understand which aspects what, but what is the effect of that?
A very good question you asked. So there is in my personal opinion, okay, like I said, right, it is very overloaded concept. Okay, so as per the Jyotish Shastra, when you are aspecting, a planet is aspecting another planet, means this planet is trying to transfer its energy to the other planet. Say, for example, say you are in a party, you go, right? You are all sitting, your family member, friends, or whatever. You stare at one person, your friend. He or she tells something, then you stare at that person. What is that you are expecting?
That he gets influenced with the way that we are staring at them, and
Correct.
they change or whatever.
They change, right? Keep
Yeah.
quiet or go on, whatever
Yeah.
it is, depending on the
Yeah.
situation. Depending on the situation. The situation is what is the key.
Right.
So
Yeah.
what happens is, lot of times where the people make mistake is, so this planet Saturn is aspecting this whatever planet. They always try to put only the negative things. If Saturn aspects,
Okay.
people say, oh, negative things is going to happen. If Jupiter aspects, positive things only will happen. But it depends on the situation, where these planets are placed. And the thing is, these planets will not transfer the energy of the bhavas where they are located. It will transfer only the karakatva of those planets. It may be little overloaded for you for the initial stages, but
Yeah.
Since you asked, I have to answer your question. That's the reason I'm answering. Usually people will understand after like in the second month or third month, after we deal with so many concepts, then you will be able to understand it better. But for now, at the beginner level, you assume what aspect means. Aspect means this planet A, Saturn, Jupiter, or Mars, or any other planet is trying to influence or transferring the energy to the other planet. So when they are seventh aspect, that means both the planets are trying to influence each other.
Okay.
So that is where people make mistakes. They don't know which one is influencing more. Right? If two planets are aspecting each other, what happens? Then you get lost. Then every person has their own theory. But in reality, you will see entirely different result. None of it will be happening. Okay. But for now, you understand it is transferring its energy and see how it is working in that person's horoscope. Take the karakatwas of those planets. That is what it will get transferred or try to get influenced. Okay. Any other question? No? Okay. Okay, right. Cool. Thank you. Have a nice weekend. We will catch up next week.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.